Awesome. And we can go ahead and move on to the next slide. So we have a topic overview here. These are just a few points that we're going to touch on today as we talk about this topic. So the first one is from a very top level. We're just going to discuss briefly what is assistive technology and why is it important? Why do we test with assistive technology? Types of assistive technology used during testing. Who should conduct the testing? When do we perform assistive technology testing, and why do we choose those particular phases? Um, and beyond that, what are some other ways that we can incorporate users with disabilities into our overall accessibility project? And then finally, we'll wrap up with some information about specifically how Accessible Web can help you out with some of these things. Um, I will just say briefly, you may hear me refer to assistive technology as assistive tech or AT at different times throughout the presentation. It's a bit of a mouthful to say repeatedly, so just know that those two kind of shortcuts refer to the same thing. On to the next slide. What is assistive technology or AT? So I'll just a quick note before we talk about this. We're going to be focusing specifically on AT as it exists in the digital space today, but there are also myriad types of assistive technology from very low tech to very high tech that also exist in the physical world as well. But today we're just going to focus on how it relates to digital accessibility. So AT in the digital space refers to hardware and software tools that allow users with disabilities to perceive, navigate, and interact with digital content. These technologies support a wide range of users, including users with disabilities, older adults, and anyone who benefits from different ways of navigating through the web. Next slide. Why is assistive technology so important? So probably the top reason is that assistive technology, when coupled with digital accessibility, allows people with disabilities to access digital spaces with independence, autonomy, and privacy, and basically supports their human right of equitable access to digital information products and services. Assistive technology tools are highly customizable, they're very robust and flexible, and that means that they can be used, adjusted to meet individual use cases, needs, preferences, and environments. So it makes them usable by a lot of different folks. And people use assistive technologies in ways that work best for them. So it's very important not to assume that any two assistive technology user experiences are ever going to be exactly the same. We'll find some commonalities for sure, but it is highly individualized. Assistive technology also plays an important role in making sure that websites and apps are accessible to all users and usable by all users. Um, And just as a kind of final note in this particular category, it is important to remember that for users of assistive technology, digital accessibility is not optional, it is essential. Because as flexible and robust as that AT is, it's a no good without digital accessibility backing it up. All right, on to the next slide. Why do we test with assistive technology now that we know a little bit about what it is? So the first reason is that it can uncover barriers that other types of testing might miss. So other types of testing, things like manual auditing, automated scans, things like that, great place to start. But in fact, you can have content that maybe ticks all the success criteria for WCAG, and in fact, still is not a great user experience. So some examples could be confusing navigation, status alerts that are more intrusive than they are helpful, or even accessible labels that don't make sense or don't provide enough context. So it's important to find out, um, once you've done all that hard work, how things actually play out for the user. Another reason why we test with it is legal compliance. And there are several laws and regulations coming to effect around the globe over the next couple of years that in fact mandate regular um, user testing with users with disabilities, as well as ongoing consultation with users with disabilities to inform accessibility projects and developments, as well as reporting those areas. So assistive technology testing is also a key element of any QA process that you might already have in place. And lastly, it just ensures that all users have an efficient and effective experience when they interact with your products. On to the next slide, please. All right, what are some common types of assistive technology that are seen in testing settings? So the first is screen readers. We hear a lot about them in the digital space, digital accessibility space. They're probably one of the more prevalent types of AT used, but they by far are not the only one. And so it's really important not to kind of develop like a screen reader bias in your testing, especially if you're just doing spot checking and that sort of thing. Want to make sure that we look at other types, which we're going to talk about here in a second, beyond screen readers. That also includes screen magnification, color and contrast enhancement. One you might have heard of is called zoom text. That's typically used by folks with low vision, different degrees of visual impairment. One other thing I'm just going to back up quickly and note with screen readers, as you are testing with those, in addition to checking your audio output, it's also important to be sure that somewhere along the way you're checking the Braille output associated with screen readers. Screen readers feed information to refreshable Braille displays, and users who are deafblind are relying on that Braille output to perceive, interact with, and navigate the content. So it's important not to overlook that piece of screen reader testing. Moving along now, alternative input devices. So such as switch controls or eye gaze tracking, these sorts of tools might be used by folks who maybe have limited manual dexterity or an ability to use the fingers and hands. And then also, lastly, voice control. And this might also be used for someone who maybe doesn't have any ability to use their hands. So they're using their voice to interact with their technology. All right, that for now wraps it up for me. We'll move along to the next slide and I'll hand it over to Kelsey.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kelsey Kloboski, and Heather talked about kind of the why of testing with assistive technology, why it's important, and what the benefits are. And now I'm going to be digging a bit more into the logistics of when and how should we be testing with assistive technology. So first, who should test with assistive technology? So first and foremost, people with disabilities should be involved in testing with assistive technology. They have lived everyday experience with using these technologies and can really give you the best feedback on what's expected or unexpected in an interaction, is going to give you the most accurate and well-rounded feedback on how your product or how your site is working with assistive technology. With that, wanted to do a specific call out of folks who are giving you this type of feedback should be compensated for their time and expertise. This is a specialized knowledge, this is a specialized experience set, and the feedback they give is very valuable and they should be compensated. In addition to people with disabilities, it's also really valuable for some other roles within digital projects to be familiar with and utilizing assistive tech as part of their own testing and review. So examples include accessibility auditors, developers, user experience designers, and quality assurance testers. This is really valuable for keeping accessibility top of mind and also be exploring how the product is working or how the site is working as it's in development and as it's in different stages when we go along. When should we test with assistive technology? The short answer is early and often. Essentially, when you're at a point where you have content or you have interactivity that is usable in a browser, that is a really great opportunity to test with assistive technology. So some examples of times when we recommend testing with assistive technology is when you have content that's in a demo or live test environment, when you're vetting third-party code or plugins, including testing with assistive tech as part of that vetting process is really valuable to help guard against that you're bringing in outside content that's going to be creating new accessibility issues for you. You can also incorporate assistive technology in quality assurance tests and in live production. One of the things I really want to emphasize with this is testing with assistive technology isn't a one and done, and it's not something that we want to save until you already have a published quote unquote finished product. It's really valuable to be including it throughout the process at the same times when you're checking and testing any other aspect of a product or a widget or an update to your site. So why should I test early and often? Well, first, it's going to save developer time on remediations. The earlier you catch an accessibility issue, the earlier you flag a concern, typically the easier and less time consuming it is to plan a solution and correct for that issue. It's also going to improve the end user experience for everyone. Heather made a great example of testing with users with disabilities on assistive tech is a great way to identify when you've got confusing or inefficient navigation or the instructions aren't clear enough or do not include enough information. All of these things also get called out in that process and improve the experience for everyone when they're addressed early in the process. Also, including assistive tech early and often is going to create a more accessible product overall. Not only can you implement solutions more easily and efficiently, but typically they're going to be better solutions because they're baked in closer to the foundation of your product or of your digital content. So, in summary, when we test with assistive tech early and often, we see better results for less money in terms of accessibility. And how else can we incorporate users with disabilities? One really key piece for incorporating users with disabilities is during the consultation and feedback stage when you're in your concept and planning stages of your product. Users with assistive tech are often, again, daily users, experienced users are really great at predicting what things are going to be challenging for them or what pitfalls you want to avoid when you're in those first planning stages. So even though it may be too early to do hands-on testing with assistive tech, it's still a great time to get feedback from people who are going to be using assistive tech with your product. And I'll pass it over to Heather for number 2 on our list.
Awesome. Yeah. So a second strategy that's easy to employ really is hire users with disabilities across all roles within your organization. So a lot of times we think about folks like with disabilities in those kind of specialized roles where they're offering consultation, feedback, doing assistive technology testing, et cetera. But the more in-house lived experience and expertise you have, the better off you're going to be. And this gives me a chance to just echo something that Kelsey mentioned earlier too, which is if you are working with folks who are already employees and you're asking them to provide this type of feedback, you want to be sure that they are compensated, and that's being done during working hours, and additional recognition is being offered for that because that may not be their everyday job or role with your organization. All right, and now we're going to move along to some ways specifically that Accessible Web can help you out. And I'm going to take the first item here, and that is by offering assistive technology user testing as a service. So we are able to offer testing with users with disabilities who use a variety of assistive technologies on a daily basis. We conduct our moderated testing sessions with our web accessibility specialists and then collate that information into ramp so that it is easily accessible and usable for your team.
Great. And this is Kelsey to talk about a few other ways that we can support your accessibility goals. We do have web accessibility software, which is called RAMP. And this is a great way to track and manage accessibility issues, including, as Heather was just mentioning, any issues that are uncovered through assistive tech testing, through user testing, can be documented in RAMP and then organized and tracked there very effectively. We also offer consulting and training, just like you're experiencing now. We also have an academy course specifically about testing with assistive tech and assistive testing methodologies. So definitely if you want to learn more, that would be a great place to go to learn more information. We offer accessibility audits for getting a full comprehensive look of your site or product. And we also prepare voluntary product accessibility templates or VPATs based on those audits, those are essentially accessibility reports. And something to bring up related to assistive tech testing is when assistive tech testing has been conducted, it's really important and valuable to include that information in your accessibility reporting, which is something that we do. So any assistive tech that we have done as part of the audit or that we've done with our accessibility testers is documented on the VPAD if that's something that you opt to do with us. And that,
Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Kelsey. So now we're going to open up to the audience for a question and answer session. Feel free to ask us about the